Oh yeah, baby. Pickup number 2 from the scrapyard. Lot of green board in there. Mostly metal socket, I'm sure. But hey, we'll figure it out after we dive in now, won't we? Well, it looks like we're gonna have mostly green motherboard kind of stuff here, so we're gonna start getting in here and separating, but you know, there's some nice other stuff in here. And we'll just get it all dug out and see what we're dealing with. Now, these gloves are kind of overkill, but my fingers got tired of getting stabbed and torn up by the solder points on the back end of these things, so I'm just going to be a little wussy and wear some gloves today. Low grade stuff. Brown brittle board of some sort of DVR, VCR, whatever thing. That's just going to go on the ground. That's probably going to be an integrated board. It's kind of motherboardish, but there's no socket. This is what is referred to as a solid plastic, or AMD, and we can talk about that in more detail, or you can go look at BoardSort's website. They've got a really good description and discussion on these right on their website. All right, some gold finger cards. Another solid plastic. And this is a small socket metal. And more of the small socket metal. Now remember, you have to take those batteries out. So that's one of the things that I have to do before I weigh these, is pull those batteries. Metal. And integrated circuit board. Peripheral. Another peripheral. That might be a laptop motherboard, so I'll set that aside for laptop motherboard. Same here. Laptop. Lots of metal, small sockets. There's a solid plastic. AMD. Oh, that one's still got the CPU on it. And that's low grade. Yeah, this is my second pickup, and I had a solid plastic AMD board, but you see that this board is black. It's an Asus board, and one of the questions that I got in my last video was how, why are a lot of boards green and other boards are blue and red and gold and all these other colors. So green is the historic color from back when they first started doing this, and there's a lot of reasons why green is so popular. Started out as a low-grade board that the engineers determined that, first of all, the raw boards are kind of greenish anyway. But then the engineers figured out that the green pigments did a good job of isolating the traces. That's why they put the solder mask on there, is to isolate the traces and to make little pools for the solder. So green worked out really well for that. And oops, wrong bucket. Then there's a socket here. That might be a laptop board. We'll set that aside. So then the US government was taking a look at these, and when they work on these things in combat areas, aboard ships and stuff like that, they want to have really good visibility. And so the government study showed that green with white lettering was the best and easiest visibility. So the government started putting, requirements on the boards to be green with white lettering. So that drove it for a while. But as science progressed, some of the other companies came along and said, well, we want to be different. And so they came up with blue and red and these other colors. Well, there's pros and cons, like anything, to the way the pigments are made. Some pigments do a better job of isolating boards than others. My research shows that the blue pigments can actually leak currents. So there's a lot of chemistry behind how the colors perform, and in some cases it's just a branding thing. Company said, well, I don't want to be like we don't want to have green boards like everybody else, so we're going to be different. We're going to be blue, or we're going to be black, or whatever. And it's just a branding thing. So there's another part of it. So there's a lot that goes into why boards are different colors. But one of the interesting things that people like BoardSort.com have figured out is that there's actually different yields. So that with BoardSort.com, colored motherboards pay less than green motherboards for the same relative socket type and size for the most part. And so it's interesting that when they would do the batch yields to see what gave the best returns, the green boards gave the best returns, and that's why places like BoardSort.com have a different category for colored motherboards. Small socket. The large socket motherboards, they're older and their return is so good that it doesn't matter what color they are. Hey, this is nice. Looks like there's a layer of telecom stuff in there. That is pretty cool. A little bit unexpected, but then again, I don't know what I was expecting. This is only the second load I've got from these folks. Very nice. Hey, it's a mystery bag. Let's see what's in the mystery bag. It better not be dog poop. Although that's what's gonna get in these bags, because those are good Lulu bags. Lulu's my little golden retriever. So this one's not gonna be so good. It's all tore up. Okay, what do we got here? Low grade, just nothing but low grade junk and some wire. This is an interesting board. At first you just think it's a piece of low grade. Then when you look a little more closely, you realize that this is just a piece of copper. That whole sheet there is copper. So, and that's got some weight to it, so we'll set that aside. And then this copper, I still need to talk to the yard owner and see what he wants to do about the copper. It's silly for me to pay him less for him to buy it back, but I don't know, we have to figure that one out. Here's some more nice finds in this Gaylord box. Large socket. We're gonna have dual large socket server board here. That's very cool. May even still have a nice CPU underneath of there. Can't wait till we get to that one. This used to be a dual metal socket server board, because there was the socket. Why they took it off, I don't know. This board here is interesting because you've got a chip here, but you've also got a lot of junk hanging on here. So peripheral low grade, because it's all just junk here. But it's, and it's a shame because the way this junk is scattered on here, there's no good way to clean this up to upgrade this board. So I think maybe even just, God, I hate throwing it in mid-grade. It's got some nice chips on it. So yeah, peripheral low grade. Look, it even has some gold fingers there. Another dual socket here, metal. This one is very obviously dual socket server. And then I don't know what you call this. I got to look at these wires with a magnet. Now, wait a minute. I have one. I have one. All right, so those wires do not attract the magnet. So they're brass or copper. That is weird. I wonder what that was. Very interesting kind of board there. This is when it gets fun. I know you may not be able to see this right because of the way the sun is shining, but I tipped it up on its side. So now we just have this big wall of boards to dig through. Yeah. Coming up with a lot of Goldfinger cards and peripherals. So there's Goldfinger and there's a nice peripheral. So it gets much easier when I can tip it on its side like this. Ooh, look at that. That's more like a Telcom than a Goldfinger. I'm gonna put that with the Telcom high grades. That's real nice. I know that board looks really impressive with the little gold bits. It's got a lot of nice chips on it, so we could justify putting that in with probably the Telcom low grades, because it got a lot of nice chips for the for its size. Gold strip card from some sort of flat screen TV. Put that in with your peripherals, and I break it in half so it's easier to mail. Another nice peripheral. I'm gonna get buried in boards. If I die young, bury me in boards. That's the Scrappers version of that song. I wonder if that's a copyright infringement strike coming. Oh well. As bad as I sing, I seriously doubt it. See, look at that. Isn't that a real nice board there? You've got the nice gold fingers, but then you've also got a very dense population of circuit ICs. So real nice board there. Here's an example of the kind of card where with a little bit of care you can upgrade this board. Right now this is low grade board because of this big huge transformer. I mean, that thing is just huge and it really weighs, it's the bulk of the weight here. But if you were to cut this part of the board away, you would easily have a peripheral, maybe a Telcom low, because this is very densely populated with good components, whereas this part of the board here is just junk. So very careful how you cut it in order to upgrade your boards. But if you're gonna do any cutting to upgrade, this is the kind of board that it works with. There's another very nice board, very densely populated with ICs. So that could very easily go in with our Telcoms. Probably even came out of a Telcom unit. Now, of course, you have to remove the brackets, and stuff, but we'll talk about that in another video. Ah, look out! Wow, that's a great big old board. Look at that baby. Lots of ICs all over here. We gotta get those batteries off, but man, that's a real nice board. I have a small problem. I've run out of bins. My bad, I forgot that I had a lot of bins with weighed material. So these things, you know, I don't want to put stuff that I haven't weighed out yet. These have all been weighed and paid for. On this side is all the new incoming, and I'm out of bins. So I think what I'm going to have to do, and this Gaylord is where I've been putting, where I put the green small metal sockets from that last load. So I think I'm going to have to dump that in the truck and then put that Gaylord box in the unit and maybe make just a big pile of boards, and sort through them again, or while I'm gonna have to go to the store and get more bins is what I'm gonna have to do. Or run over to the other unit and get some boxes, because I do have some boxes over there that I could use for sorting. Yeah. Kind of forgot how much space all this stuff takes. No, a good heavy rainstorm does not mean that you have clean boards. That's not going to take away all the heat sinks and motors and transformers and stuff that you need to clean your boards. All right, well, the rough sort is done. Big pile of low grade there. Green metal sockets, those telecom boards, some colored boards or non-greens, and then here's all the mix of peripheral and some more metal small sockets and large sockets and plastic small sockets and Goldfinger cards, and this stuff needs a finer sort here. And then I need to get the scale over here and get things weighed. I left this empty. I think that's going to become the low grade bin for now. Of course, the problem is when I fill these things up, I don't have any way to lift them, so I have to empty them by hand again into something else. So I don't know how we're going to play that one just yet. I've done enough thinking for one day. It's time for a cold Coke.